Have you ever jolted awake at 2 in the morning, your heart racing slightly, knowing immediately that you have to make that familiar, frustrating walk down the dark hallway to the bathroom? You crawl back into bed only to find yourself staring at the ceiling, calculating how few hours of sleep you have left. For decades, the mainstream medical advice has been relentlessly simple: drink 8 glasses of water a day to stay healthy. But if you are over the age of 50, that generic one-size-fits-all advice might be the exact reason your sleep is being destroyed night after night. You might think your bladder is just failing, or perhaps you are secretly worrying about your prostate or a declining urinary system. But what if the truth is completely different? What if it is not a disease you are fighting, but a deeply ingrained evening habit that is completely confusing your kidneys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are tired of fragmented sleep and want to reclaim your independence without relying on heavy prescription medications, you are in the right place. Before we uncover the exact hydration timing protocol that can change your nights, please take a quick moment to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment below letting me know how many times you usually wake up a night. Liking and sharing this video helps us reach others who are silently struggling with this exact same exhaustion. Let us build a community where we support our bodies to heal naturally. Let me introduce you to Arthur. He is a 68-year-old retired architect living in Michigan. For 3 years, Arthur was waking up 4 to 5 times every single night. He was exhausted. The morning brain fog was so severe, he stopped driving his grandchildren to school because he felt unsafe behind the wheel. His doctors prescribed him overactive bladder medications, which left him with a terribly dry mouth and dizziness, yet the nighttime bathroom trips barely reduced. Arthur felt like a hostage to his own body. He was doing everything the health magazines told him to do. He drank chamomile tea at 8 in the evening to relax, and kept a large glass of water on his nightstand to stay hydrated. It sounds like a healthy routine, does it not? Here is the shocking truth that completely turned Arthur's life around, and it is rooted in recent clinical observations from major institutions like the Cleveland Clinic. As we age, our bodies produce less of a vital chemical called the Anti-Diuretic Hormone, or ADH. When you were younger, your brain released a massive surge of ADH at night, which signaled your kidneys to slow down urine production so you could sleep for 8 unbroken hours. But past the age of 50, this hormone production naturally drops. Your kidneys are no longer going to sleep when you do. They stay highly active. When Arthur drank his seemingly innocent chamomile tea and that glass of water right before bed, he was sending a massive wave of fluid directly into a system that was no longer equipped to hold it overnight. His kidneys processed that fluid immediately, filling his bladder within hours. The medication he was taking was trying to force his bladder to relax, but it could not stop the sheer volume of water his kidneys were producing. It was like trying to stop a flood with a sponge. This brings us to the first and most critical rule of evening hydration. It is not about stopping your water intake entirely. It is about respecting the biological clock of your kidneys. We call this the front-loaded hydration protocol. Researchers have found that the human body absorbs and utilizes water much more efficiently during the active hours of the morning and early afternoon. By shifting 80% of your daily fluid intake to before 2 in the afternoon, you give your body ample time to hydrate your cells, lubricate your joints, and flush out toxins, while still allowing your kidneys to process and eliminate the excess long before sunset. Arthur started drinking a large glass of water right when he woke up and carried a bottle with him until lunch. By the time 6 in the evening rolled around, he restricted his fluid intake to just a few small sips with dinner. Within just 4 days, Arthur went from waking up 5 times a night to just once. Within 2 weeks, he slept through the entire night for the first time in years. His energy returned, his mind cleared, and he finally felt like himself again. Now that we understand how the anti-diuretic hormone changes as we age, we must look at the second major culprit. This is something 90% of my patients completely overlook. They focus so much on the water they are drinking, they completely ignore what is pulling that water into their bladder in the middle of the night. Let us talk about the silent saboteur hiding in your kitchen pantry right now. I am talking about hidden sodium. But before you skip ahead thinking you already know to avoid the salt shaker, listen very closely. This is not about the salt you sprinkle on your food. This is about a specific physiological reaction recognized by cardiovascular researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. Meet Margaret. She is a 64-year-old former high school teacher living in Boston. Margaret was incredibly health conscious. She stopped drinking water by 5 in the afternoon, exactly as some magazines suggested. Yet, she was still waking up 3 times a night to use the bathroom. She felt completely defeated, thinking her bladder was just permanently damaged. She told me she felt like she was losing her independence, becoming a burden to her own routine. When we analyzed her evening habits, we found the hidden trigger. Margaret loved having a warm bowl of organic store-bought vegetable soup for dinner, thinking it was a light and healthy choice. What she did not realize was that a single bowl contained over 800 milligrams of hidden sodium. Here is the biology behind what was happening to Margaret and what might be happening to you right now. When you consume high amounts of sodium in the evening, your body enters a state of mild physiological panic. Sodium acts like a powerful, invisible magnet for water. To dilute that sudden influx of salt in your bloodstream, your body pulls fluid from your surrounding tissues directly into your blood vessels. Your kidneys then have to work in absolute overdrive to filter out both the excess salt and the extra water. So, even if you stop drinking liquids at 5 in the afternoon, a high sodium dinner will force your kidneys to extract water from your own body tissues all night long. You are literally filling your bladder from the inside out while you sleep. To manage this and support your body's natural restorative process, you must implement rule number 2, the evening sodium cutoff. You do not need to eliminate salt entirely from your life, but you must shift your heavy sodium intake to your breakfast and lunch hours. For your evening meal, aim strictly for whole, unprocessed foods, fresh vegetables, grilled poultry or fish, and grains cooked at home from scratch. Avoid anything that comes from a can, a cardboard box, or a restaurant drive-thru after 4 in the afternoon. When Margaret swapped her canned evening soup for a simple homemade chicken salad with 0 added salt, the results were astonishing. Within exactly 3 days, her nighttime waking dropped from 3 times to 0. She slept through the night. It was not a miracle cure, it was simply aligning her diet with her body's aging biology. But there is a third piece to this puzzle, and it is perhaps the most fascinating physiological mechanism of all. It has nothing to do with what you eat or drink, but entirely with how you position your physical body before you get into bed. You see, throughout the day, gravity is constantly pulling fluid down into your legs, your ankles, and your feet. This is known as mild peripheral edema, and it is incredibly common for men and women over the age of 50. You might not even notice the swelling, but the fluid is there, trapped in your lower extremities, waiting. When we look at extensive studies from the Mayo Clinic, they highlight how cardiovascular changes in our 50s and 60s make us much more susceptible to this fluid pooling. It is not a disease you should fear, it is just a mechanical shift in how your circulatory system operates over time. Imagine carrying 2 invisible water bottles strapped to your calves all day long. What do you think happens to all that trapped fluid the moment you lie down flat in your bed at night? Without gravity keeping it in your legs, those invisible bottles empty, and that fluid slowly seeps back into your bloodstream. Your heart pumps it straight to your kidneys, and suddenly, 2 hours after you fall asleep, your bladder is completely full again. You wake up frustrated, blaming your aging body, when in reality, it is just simple physics. This brings us to rule number 3, the pre-sleep elevation strategy. This is a zero-cost, completely natural habit that forces this fluid processing to happen while you are still awake. Every evening, approximately 2 to 3 hours before your designated bedtime, you need to sit in a comfortable chair and elevate your legs above the level of your heart. You can use a reclining chair or simply prop your feet up on a tall stack of pillows on the sofa. Stay in this position for at least 45 minutes to an hour. While you are watching your favorite evening television show, listening to a podcast, or reading a book, gravity will begin working in your favor. The fluid that has quietly accumulated in your legs all day will efficiently drain back into your torso. Your kidneys will process this fluid while you are still awake and active. You will likely feel the urge to use the bathroom 1 or 2 times during this elevation period. This is exactly what we want to happen. You are proactively emptying those invisible water bottles before you ever set foot in your bedroom. This simple act of biological physics can reduce nighttime urination by up to 50% for many older adults. It is about working brilliantly with your body's mechanics, not fighting hopelessly against them. Now that you understand the mechanics of front-loaded hydration, the hidden danger of evening sodium, and the undeniable physics of leg elevation, there is one final, almost invisible piece to this puzzle. It involves your nervous system and a phenomenon clinical researchers refer to as bladder anxiety. Let us look at David, a 73-year-old retired commercial pilot living in Texas. David implemented the fluid and sodium changes brilliantly. He even elevated his legs every evening while reading his favorite books. His nighttime bathroom trips dramatically dropped from 4 to just 1. Yet, he still found himself jolting awake at exactly 3 in the morning, his heart pounding slightly, anticipating the need to use the bathroom even if his bladder was barely full. His brain had been conditioned by years of broken sleep to wake him up in a state of high alert. He was frustrated, feeling like his own mind was betraying his physical progress. This is a crucial physiological mechanism that most standard advice completely ignores. According to neuroscientists studying the autonomic nervous system, chronic nocturia trains your brain to expect an interruption. Your body begins to release cortisol, the primary stress hormone, right in the middle of your sleep cycle. Here's the fascinating part. Cortisol actually stimulates kidney function and can directly irritate the bladder lining. David was not waking up because his bladder was dangerously full. He was waking up because his nervous system was trapped in a learned cycle of nocturnal stress. To completely break this cycle and support your body's deepest restorative phases, you must optimize your physical sleep environment to suppress cortisol. Research from international sleep medicine institutes demonstrates that an aggressively cooler room, specifically around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, signals your brain to maximize melatonin production and dramatically lowers stress hormones. David lowered his bedroom thermostat, completely removed the glowing digital clock from his nightstand that was triggering his time anxiety, and practiced 5 minutes of slow, rhythmic breathing before closing his eyes. By cooling his environment and intentionally calming his nervous system, David finally eliminated that final, stubborn 3 in the morning wake-up call. He found the true blessing of unbroken restorative sleep. Aging gracefully is not about fighting your body with endless pills or accepting exhaustion as a normal part of getting older. It is about understanding the beautiful, complex biology of how your internal systems work together. Your kidneys, your cardiovascular system, and your brain are all intimately connected. When you align your daily habits with your natural physiology, you do not just fix your sleep. You reclaim your mornings from the heavy fog of exhaustion. You reclaim your daytime energy to spend with your grandchildren or pursue your passions. Most importantly, you reclaim your absolute independence, ensuring you never become a burden to those you love. You take control of your golden years. If this video brought you value today, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the like button. It is a small gesture, but it allows this free science-backed information to reach other older adults who are exhausted and desperately searching for natural answers. Share this video with a friend or a spouse who silently struggles with their sleep. And please drop a comment below sharing which of these habits you are going to try tonight. I read every single comment, and your personal story might be the exact inspiration someone else needs to see today to change their life. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Take care of your body, respect your biology, and I will see you in the next video.